not too long ago, it was reported to us that we wouldn't be seeing Aaron Brooks for the 2026 and 2027 freestyle season due to a failed drug test from April of 2025. Now, we know the details behind that situation, and if you weren't around for it or if you just didn't know what had happened, basically in April of 2025, Aaron Brooks had tested positive for DHEA, which is an anabolic agent banned by USADA. Brooks had made the claim that he had, after dealing with double pneumonia and being hospitalized for that, he was working on the recovery process behind getting better after having both of your lungs basically incapacitated. And in order to help himself heal quicker, he bought over-the-counter DHEA, or probably multiple supplements, but the problematic one being DHEA. So initially, from this, Brooks had received a 4-year suspension from USADA, and then through an appeal process and an arbitrator, they had essentially had gotten down to a 2-year suspension. So from that, we wouldn't see Brooks until June 12th, 2027, putting him out basically until the Olympics. Until the next competition we would see him in is the Senior Nationals, which is it's like December 2027. Maybe the Bill Farrell, if he would do that earlier in the year. So that's where things kind of seemed like they had settled on. 2 years, not ideal, but you kind of have to do your due diligence when it comes to being an athlete. But yesterday we hear some news. We get an update about the situation from Pat Minio on Twitter. He says that USADA is appealing the decision and that they did not agree with the sentencing given out from the arbitration process, and that they want to bump it back up to a 4-year suspension, which would put him out until June 12th, 2029, which means we wouldn't see Aaron Brooks wrestle basically until 2030. So that is not ideal, really, I think, for anybody. I mean, look, I am all for making sure the athletes are clean and that they're not cheating. And I think that this is a situation where that needed to be taken care of. Let's lay out the two possibilities that could have happened here. Either one, Aaron Brooks is innocent in the situation in that he did not understand what he was taking was banned, or that he, the relative innocent situation of him basically not realizing, the damage that he was doing to himself from the USADA perspective. That's a bad look for NLWC and the Penn State RTC situation, because that's one of the premier RTCs in the country. You would think that they are doing a pretty good job of keeping their athletes within compliance, and they have a nutritionist or somebody who knows, hey, this is what you should be taking here, this is what you shouldn't be taking. And maybe Aaron Brooks went off on his own and did this, and they had no idea, in which case it's kind of stupid for Aaron Brooks to do. Now that's the relatively innocent likelihood, and then the one that's not so innocent is that DHEA is commonly used in what we've seen on the internet, what people talk about. It's commonly used as a masking agent for something more nefarious, something more performance enhancing. And so if that's the case, then this is a real problem. What was Aaron Brooks actually taking? I don't know necessarily if that's inherently true, especially with the situation that Aaron Brooks was dealing with. Double pneumonia is not necessarily something easy to go through, but at the same time, that deals with the lungs. DHEA it's an anabolic agent. I don't really think that there's a correlation, but I'm also not that's not my area of knowledge. So either way, both are bad situations basically. So what's the path forward? I don't think it's going to end up being a 4-year suspension. However, I would assume the reason USADA is doing this is so that they can avoid future situations where they have USADA athletes test positive for DHEA and then only get 2-year suspensions. Because if they have this situation, they say, oh, there's precedent. DHEA is only a 2-year ban. It's not that big of a deal. But because people have gotten 4-year bans for DHEA before, this could be the reason why. Now, another thing to think about is this is his second failed drug test. His first was for Adderall, which he's prescribed. It just the paperwork wasn't properly filed or wasn't filed at all. Either way, that was kind of it was like a, hey, keep all your ducks in a row, and then they didn't because he took DHEA, or they did and they're just trying to get away with a masking agent. I don't know. So that's the situation. I think as a fan of the sport and as somebody who has been a competitor before, it would suck to be like stuck unable to wrestle for 4 years because of either an innocent mistake or a not so innocent mistake. Either way, it would suck. It would basically be like having your dream job and then you all of a sudden are like, no, you can't do your dream job for the 4 most prime years of your life of like where you could compete at your peak. So I think that kind of sucks. Like we don't get to see peak Aaron Brooks, which yeah, I mean, I think that kind of sucks as a fan of the sport. But also at the same time, rules are rules, and they're there for a reason. People don't always try and play by the rules, and so this is what we see happen. Whether it's innocent or not, you've got to be able to follow these guidelines. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I see. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if it's going to be a 2-year or 4-year by the end of it all. I also don't know how long this is going to take. I mean, we didn't hear about the full 2-year ban until I can't remember when exactly, but it was like late 2025, I think, or maybe early 2026. And so I don't know how long this appeal process is going to take. It doesn't seem like these things take a short amount of time. So, yeah, we'll see. 2 years or 4 years, either one sucks, but 4 years is definitely twice as bad as 2. So that's all I got for today. Bye-bye.